everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. So much breaking today. Today is like the beginning of Uncle Cliff's tensions and all that, and it is sure rolling out all over the news. There's so much happening that you can miss a lot. So I went ahead and started. Sean will be joining us any minute now, and we'll be right back right after this. So go ahead and give us a like and share this video, and I will roll into some news and get us all caught up right after this. Well, we got Litecoin and Lisa here anyway. Sean's on his way. Like I said, thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us. Steve, JDO was here right at the beginning. JB Rants, Ascension Organites, Steve Tyrell, and I think there were a couple others that I saw pop in. So I'm going to roll ahead into some of the news. Like I said, there's just stuff popping all over. I put a couple things in the title, Warrior and HIN. Thanks for joining us. The FTX hearing was the big thing. Everybody has heard by now, I think, that the Bahamian government picked up SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, last night. A lot of people think that is, to keep him from testifying. A lot of people also said that his girlfriend, Caroline Ellison, was seen with Hillary's attorneys over the weekend in New York. So most likely she rolled on him. And I wanted to share this clip. Old Maxine Waters did not want this dude getting his 5 minutes in.
Member McHenry and myself. And I'd like to thank you, Mr. John Ray III.
Chairwoman Waters.
For your presence here today.
Chairwoman Waters.
Like,
I've not had an opportunity to testify or to question the witness.
I'd like to thank you for your presence.
Chairwoman Waters.
And for the
Parliamentary inquiry.
yes.
Are all members entitled to question witnesses?
You are, and if you would like to miss the votes on the floor for everybody.
Hey, it's the chairwoman's prerogative to call a
Just
recess.
1 moment, please.
That's your decision, not mine.
Just 1 moment, please. You may go right ahead and have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're certainly welcome, sir.
I can't tell. That line goes right through his name, so I'm not sure who that was. But I love how pissed off that got her, because she did not want him asking this question. And I thought it was very telling that he said, I didn't get a chance to testify. Oh, I mean, question the witness. So I'm sure he had some juicy stuff. But the guy that seemed to be the hero of the day, at least for the crypto folks, was this guy. Let's see. There were 2 great clips that he had. Hold on. Representative Tom Emmer. Let's see. That's the first one.
And Mr. Ray, I appreciate you mentioning your concerns in the beginning of my questioning about the concentration of power in a small group of individuals with no oversight. That is the exact problem that open and permissionless technology like crypto and blockchain solve. It solves for the problems of centralization. You stated in your testimony that you've never seen such a, quote, utter failure of corporate controls at every level of an organization, from the lack of financial statements to a complete failure of any internal controls or governance whatsoever, close quote. FTX had disastrous or even non-existent systems for accounting, audit, cash management, cybersecurity, human resources, risk management, and other unacceptable management practices that currently make your job to uncover the facts quite difficult. Fortunately, the immutable characteristics of public blockchains that some people would care not to understand in this committee allowed the crypto community to reveal Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud, and the on-chain public record will assist law enforcement moving forward. I encourage my colleagues to understand Sam Bankman-Fried's con for what it is: a failure of centralization, a failure of business ethics, and a crime. It is not a failure of technology. I've worked across the aisle since I came to Congress, so the future of crypto reflects American values, the same way the internet does today. For the most engaged members of Congress on crypto policy, the FTX collapse remind us of why we care so deeply about this technology. Decentralization is the point. Thank you.
That was epic. I mean, that was a mic drop. I wish this clip could get out to everyone. I think this was just epic. I keep checking back to make sure Sean's not waiting in the wings, guys. Let's see. Then there was this one.
We know that Chair Gensler had more meetings with FTX than anyone else in the crypto industry. We understand.
Okay, let's remember he had more meetings. FTX had more meetings with Gensler than, or Gensler had meetings with FTX than anyone in the industry. Anyone like the very Dow who was begging for guidance for what to do with the tokens, putting in for NALs, which is a no action letter, which means you won't take action against the token holders. The people that were like Dragon Chain that were looking for guidance as they were innovating, organizations like Library who are looking for guidance, but they had plenty of time to meet with FTX, and you'll see why here in just a minute.
Understand that what was being negotiated was a framework for digital asset exchange registration and token registration with the SEC that would benefit both parties. It would expand the SEC's jurisdiction in exchange for the SEC's preferential treatment of FTX over other industry participants. We understand there was a lot of activity to move this idea forward, including the circulation of draft short-form disclosures that would enable filers to get tokens listed on this newly formed bespoke exchange. Mr. Ray, I know you're handicapped with the information you currently have obtained, but Chair Gensler refuses to answer our questions or testify before this committee. Will you commit to sharing with this committee any internal documents you come across regarding communication between FTX and Mr. Gensler or others at the SEC?
We'll fully cooperate, with the and the regulatory authorities with respect to that.
Again, specifically, I just want copies. This committee will want copies of those communications to the extent they exist.
We can certainly work with your staff to get you what you need.
You know, they are all just crapping in their pants. And then it came out that there were tens of millions of dollars. There's another video where they say, they ask, where is it? They ask, I think it's Ducey asking at the White House if Biden's going to give back the funds, because there were tens of millions of dollars given for what's it called?
Campaigns.
Thank you. Campaign funds. Why is that not showing up now? I shared that video. It's missing. The campaign funds. Well, I guess the truth machine is still not completely. Let's see. Funds were deposited, representative speaking, but SEC chair will be held accountable. China is accusing, no, that's the Tether thing.
Yeah.
that's going down as well. With Binance, get your coins in your own possession, people. We scream them every day, but you need to. There's a and it's 1.7 billion. I mean, it's so obvious. Lawmakers are introducing legislation that would ban TikTok. They did that in Oklahoma over the weekend from all the state devices, but they're now introducing that legislation from anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, but that's been done already. Trump did that back when he was in office.
Oh, okay.
For
state devices or for federal devices?
Like soldiers weren't allowed to have it on
that makes sense, though. Yeah.
It was owned by the Chinese military,
Right.
government.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason to have the big tornadoes we can talk about. There's some woo-woo I shared. This was interesting. Laura Logan called this out. Elon started poking the bear with John Brennan with he did that whole Fauci should be prosecuted or whatever. And Brennan jumped up and started protecting him or defending him and calling out Musk and saying, just because you're rich, you shouldn't be attacking people. And Laura Logan was like, interesting to see whose head pops up when you start calling that out.
I think that's something that we're seeing now. You're always talking about how the good guys are in control and whatnot, and I definitely don't think so. But
yeah, you're seeing it now, though.
You're seeing things that are coming to light. It's very interesting, the people that are speaking up and the people that aren't saying anything. You know what I mean?
They're trying to hide, but it really is being brought out in the light.
They're not denouncing anything. They're not saying anything negative. They're just like, oh, let's wait see how things work out and let's find all the facts out because,
Yeah, can we please just let this go under the rug?
Yeah.
Is what they're hoping. Yeah.
And I've noticed now, because I want to talk about the Balenciaga stuff I want to talk about.
No, I'm so over that. We can talk about that on your channel.
I want to talk about the bigger picture of that, like the reasoning behind it and all. But if you look up stuff on it, I always listen to the specific wording. That's why I caught the Democratic stuff, which it's like.
Yeah, good call on that too.
But now everyone is talking about not what they did, not the actual act of what they did. They're saying they're bad decisions. You go look at any news story. I mean, there's lots of them. You just go Google it. And it blames the finger at a scapegoat, which is a complete lie. It's impossible.
But, okay, so I was thinking about this today. I think we're on the same target or track. They're trying to blame the tool instead of the bad people.
Right.
They're trying, right now they're trying to blame the tech. They want to blame cryptocurrency, like with the FTX thing and all that. They want to blame the tech instead of the criminals that were using crypto. And that's where
they were always criminals. And then they're like, hey, we have this new tool. Let's go use that for a little bit.
And that's where, before you came on, this guy, where is he? Maybe it's this way. Tommy or Tomer, this guy has this epic response about how cryptocurrency actually told the truth in this and exposed what was really happening and is actually in line with the decentralization tells the truth, and that's what we need. And the centralization is a problem. This Representative Tom Emmer, and that is the truth teller.
But that is such a big statement that I've been really thinking about the past couple of weeks. Our world.
Did you hear this video of this guy though? Because I think this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I was saying our world and us as a people, we've been since humanity started, we were, sporadic, and we were uncivilized and whatever. And we slowly made this move towards being civilized and creating a civilization for humanity.
Mhm.
And as we did that, we moved closer and closer to centralization to create that goal. And I think we did create the goal. We're now to the point where we're looking at leaving our own world and moving out. And if that's not the literal definition of decentralized, I don't know what it is. But with that, we're starting to see all aspects of our life since the creation of the internet. It's becoming decentralized. Everything is becoming more and more decentralized, where it's not just one hub. And we're moving away from that, I think, as a people. And I think that scares the crap out of, the powers that have really gotten all of their authority and control from the fact that that's what we all had to use, and that's what we all did use.
Mhm.
And I think they can see the system kind of not falling apart, but the system changing and just evolving into the next level of humanity. It scares them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. They see all these, people rejecting public schools, government schools. I love that you called it government schools. I say that all the time. I tell all my friends. People rejecting all of the government stuff. Even right now, we're seeing as the dollar's inflating because of what's going on, people are already, it is more and more every day in the mainstream. People are looking for alternatives, whether they're looking at getting rid of their dollars and buying items to use later because they're like, my dollar is worth nothing every day. I'm gonna just go ahead and buy some stuff that I can, use over the winter, or exchange it for something for later, that I can barter
Even
with.
like our news, we're not. Nobody trusts the main news
Nobody's
sources anymore.
trusting the news
You trust,
anymore.
that guy that took his camera and went into the
Right.
thick of it, filmed it, and then
That's a
posted it. Yeah,
decentralized
that's a
move.
decentralized news source.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I think everything we're moving towards that in just so many different areas in our life that that was what the literal definition of power base. But so many of the things that we utilize to create this decentralization, we've allowed to get corrupted when it comes to the internet and stuff by politicians and corporations that have that saw this coming and tried to grab as much control as possible.
Yeah, our communication is going to be, I think, the most difficult hurdle. But then I think in cryptocurrency, you can send messages.
Mm-hmm.
There just is going to be a significant learning curve, but that's going to be a big part of it. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. This whole thing didn't play out.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons, if you're talking about government schools,
Mm-hmm.
why this generation is so dependent and looks for answers from the government, from Big Brother. It's like, oh, please fix this for me.
They do keep asking permission from the people that are hurting us.
I don't have the power to do this. I don't have the power to fix myself. I don't have the power to fix the problems. Oh, the world is so terrible. Oh, you've ruined everything for us, our generation. Where every generation says that. I remember mine. When I grew up, they literally on Saturday morning cartoon said, "You're not going to have enough water to live when you're, a grown up. The water's going to be, drinking water will be gone from the earth. There's only so much drinking water in the earth, and when it's gone, and you're going to die." Literally, I remember seeing that when I was a kid. And there's so many. You look at climate change and things. Not to say that it's not real, but we've had doomsday stuff constantly. I mean,
though, that's part of the narrative, is to push the fear porn, though, to keep us scared and watching.
When you were told that, you're like, you got to fix it now. Okay, 5-year-old kid watching cartoons, you're going to die when you're grown up because there's no water. Fix it. Now it's just like, hey, kid, you're going to die because of this and that. Let us fix it. Trust us. Give us your rights. Give us your
Give us your right. Yeah.
We'll fix it.
This is why you have to eat bugs,
You are weak.
because
You're weak. You don't know.
you're bad, and you have caused the water to get dirty, and so you're going to eat bugs.
Yeah, that was
That's
the
your
difference.
punishment.
You can be angry. You can be angry at the people that did it, but there's nothing you can do about it. Only we can fix it.
Right.
And
That's
that's the basis, I think, for gun control. It's like, hey, you don't need to defend yourself. You can, we'll do that. You don't need those guns.
I still can't believe how many countries, how many people, like, is the US the last country to
Mhm.
have guns, where
Pretty
the
much.
citizens have
There's
guns?
some.
Like Canada gave up their rights,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. The difference between like the United States and other gun positive countries is that they're tiny and they don't have the open space that we have. Canada did, and now they're done. Australia did, now they're done. So
Australia's a mess. I mean, from
So
what is
when
coming
you're
out in the
talking
news
about
about their prime minister.
countries that have the ability to really, okay, when it comes to gun positive countries, it's like a novelty. It's there for, I guess, defense of your home, but it's not a tool really. You're not going to go shooting a lot. You can't go hunting. You can't use it, enjoy it. It's just a what if.
Only
It's
for
to
special.
fix a flat in your trunk. Whereas in the rest of certain countries, we had the whole thing where we could fix a tire.
Mhm.
We didn't. We had all the hardware, and we had the garage to do it in. Whereas any other, like Sweden and other countries that have positive gun laws for its citizens, people don't. They don't have collections. It's just a very basic tool, like a can of fix a flat in your trunk.
Wow.
So America is, I think, the last place there is to
I was thinking it was.
have guns as part of as a sporting.
It's shocking to me. Another big story before there's a couple things I've got to mention before we go over to yours, to your channel, that I want to hit. There was a huge arrest in Brazil last night, and they arrested it's like an Indian king or whatever. I don't know his technical. The president. Okay, so most of Brazil loves Bolsonaro, and then the election happened there, and the other guy stayed in, and now they've arrested this indigenous leader, and the Brazilian Supreme Court ordered this arrest warrant of this indigenous leader who was in support of Bolsonaro. And so it's just crazy to me that the people are all, I mean, millions of people are rioting. And this has been going on for days. So
Man, they're getting things done with violence.
No.
Dude,
That's concerning.
didn't he try to dissolve the Senate? The president? The one that got voted in?
Maybe the bad one. He
tried to dissolve the Senate, and then they were like, "No, you tried to pull like Star Wars and just dissolve the Senate and take over." And they were like, "No, you can't do that. Now you're in trouble." I think it was Brazil. If not, it was a different country that happened in, but it was hilarious.
He's still that, but the Supreme Court is in support of the one that got voted in. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really concerning. And then now they're going after this indigenous leader that's in support of Bolsonaro. So
that's like the Brittany Griner thing.
Where's my Oklahoma thing?
The government's so hypocritical. Like in Venezuela, the bad dude got voted in, and they're like, no, this other guy, he's the real guy. This one, we support him. And like the U.S. government's like, we totally support this guy. They were pushing and helping him to try to start like a civil war in Venezuela like years ago. Not that far, like I mean like 4 years ago. And people were like, hey, then they had a legitimate, legitimate election, and this guy won because they're completely in hyperinflation. The people are desperate, and this iron-fisted guy's like, I'll get things taken care of, just like Hitler and everyone else came to power. So he got voted in, and the United States was just very blatant, like, no, this is the guy that is. He's really, he's the good guy, and he's the one who should have won. It was just so they didn't even try to hide it. And then with the Griner thing, talking about how it's trumped up unjust charges, when literally we have people in our own prisons that
Right.
we arrested for it
For the same thing.
and no one calls it. Not one reporter's like, we got my friend works for the state. She runs the like homeless shelters and for battered women and stuff in our area, like, and she knows all the police and all, and she was going to work. She got pulled over, and they were like, oh, hi, blah blah blah, and then they asked her, do you don't have anything? And she said, well, I picked up these THC vape things for my friend, but they're not. I'm just bringing it to him, and they're like, oh,
Yeah, you can't do that.
you can't have those.
That's
they're
illegal.
They're like, come
You
on.
don't think well, if it's
But no,
medication,
but
you don't pick up
No, it's much
medication for
worse.
other
It's much
people.
worse. It's much
Yeah.
worse. They were like, hey, it would be a big deal if that was weed. I just, I'd throw it away or something, but because that's those pods, that's a felony. And she was like, what?
What?
And he's like, yeah, it's a felony in Texas. It's a big deal. So it was a huge thing. It was a huge thing. And that's in Texas. So that can change from state to state. You would have to know that. But, that's in my hometown, or in my home state of Texas. You would, you realize that things can change from state to state. I'm not sure where Brittany Griner's from. Do you know where she's from?
I don't.
Oh, it's Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, isn't it?
So it would be illegal even in her own state.
Unless you have like a prescription. So, but the fact is, that it changes from state to state. So to act like you can go to Russia, that's like going to North Korea and saying, I didn't think I got a prescription.
Right.
No.
Right.
You can't agree. That's moronic. But that being said, the hypocrisy is what I was talking about. The fact that, we talk about how, or the government's talked about how things are trumped up charges and they're, blah, 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 terrible and all. And we literally have arrest people for that. Just as bad. It's a felony arrest. Just as bad.
So here, I would like to know your thoughts on this. In Oklahoma, Mexico, Governor Stitt just announced that they're opening a consulate in Oklahoma City next spring.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem strange to you?
No.
No.
Why would that seem strange to you?
That they're opening a consulate in Oklahoma for Mexico next spring? That just seemed a little odd to me.
No. Mexico is becoming a much stronger
partner,
political power, and
yes,
a bigger nation.
To me, it sounds like more of the USMCA kind of partnership coming to fruition.
I think you're going to have more. One of the biggest things for consulates is for influence in trade and stuff in that country, but that would be more like DC, New York, that kind of thing. But
it says it's going to promote economic, commercial, educational, cultural, tourism, and community and
tourism
affairs between
the reason for consulates when it
Mexican
comes to- on a
entities
big scale
and
is for
Oklahoma
travel and for people from their country to have somewhere to go. So basically, what that means is that more people in that country have the money to travel, and that is a hub for where people might be going. So people might, I mean, they probably could have put it in, any city. So that's probably going to serve like Upper Texas, that whole part of the South. I'm sure they probably have a consulate. I'm sure they have a consulate in Austin, or at least something. But yeah, especially since we're so close. But I think maybe, 5-10 years from now, you can look at having, half as many consulates from Mexico as you do in the United States. I mean, if people are going to travel, mainly for travel though, they're not going to be as involved in like politics, so they probably won't have one in Zimbabwe and other hot zones like we do.
Okay.
For that kind of stuff. But I think as far as they grow, just for tourism and for to be part of the political stage, they're going to have more.
Very interesting.
I something that's another thing with the hypocritical stuff. Remember when old 9/11 happened, and we said, "Hey, these people attacked our country and our citizens, and we're going after them. And if they're in your country, get out of our way. If you try to hide them, we'll kill you." It was, and every country was like, absolutely, come on in. Afghanistan, it was like, hey, they're over there, go get them. Don't mess with us. Mexico is still massively corrupt, and the cartel and the drug trade, they are attacking and hurting our country, and that was the whole beginning of the war on drugs, in air quotes. But if we would just do what we did then and said, oh, hey, we're going to, actually declare war, and we're going to kill all these people who do, if you look into that for 10 minutes, you will be shocked at the things that they do with impunity in Mexico. It's like big statements to the government, to everyone that like, hey, we run this country. It would take, but I think, a month or two, and we would cripple them. But I think our government utilizes them more than
to do like the quick trial thing instead of partnering with the cartel. And I think that's what so much of that, I mean, the stuff that's coming out in the FTX thing, like they're talking about, the tens of millions of dollars that was funneled to the campaigns. They're talking about,
but I think it's going to go away.
And
I think it's going to go away. Just like, I mean,
I don't think it will.
Dude, Epstein happened. Everyone knows Clinton went
It's
on.
talking. They're talking about it though.
How long has it been? What, a decade? 8 years, something like that. Come on, it's not nothing.
It never stopped.
Yeah, but it's not. Nothing's happening. It's just a joke. It's a meme. And there's going to be. I mean, there'll be a Maxwell. Sam will probably go to jail, go to prison. His list will not come out, just like Maxwell's list hasn't come out.
They are trying to block. They've already filed to block all the investors' names.
They're all on the list.
Yeah,
they're all on those lists. So that people,
those are the criminals. Yeah, they're trying to make crypto. That's to your point earlier. They're trying to make crypto the bad guy, the tool, the bad guy, and let the bad guys actually walk and not mention those guys. Do you have your link set up for your channel?
Yeah, I got it set up. I want to talk about a little bit of crazy stuff, maybe stuff you didn't know, and stuff you do know.
Okay, cool.
But
yeah,
more of
I love that.
the big picture when it comes to all of evil.
Cool. All right,
and
you guys
evil that
join
you are
us.
Actually kind of take a part in.
Oh, well, wonderful. You've been picking on me.
You'll know. No,
you pick on me some more.
I do right now.
Okay.
If you have an iPhone,
I love you.
You're doing it.
Oh, great. All right. You guys meet us over on Sean's channel.
You're like and
right
subscribe
now.
over here.
Yeah, and like and subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and thanks for all of you guys in the chat. I was trying
See
to
you
catch
over on
up
my
on
channel.
some of the last comments before we go. All right, see you guys over there on Sean's channel.